Hello to you, and welcome to your West Ham United news, where we give you all the latest headlines and what's going on in the media, as well as links in the description. So if you don't know what we're talking about and you want to have a read, you can do as well. We'll be here when there's news. There's a West Ham United show on this channel for you. Keep up to date with all the latest West Ham news over on OneFootball. It's a free app for iOS and Android. The link to that is in the description as well. Just click it, download it, and anytime there's a West Ham news headline, you get it straight to your phone, swipe, and you can have a little read. And the best bit is, it's all free. Charlie, have you had a little read of the BBC News article?
Yeah, and it sort of confirmed what I think everyone has sort of been suspecting for a long time now.
The main talking point tonight is the BBC ran an article yesterday after they did a Freedom of Information Act to all the Premier League clubs, local police and councils. They got the results back from Newham Council, which confirmed West Ham's actual average attendance over 12 games was 42,800, which is 12,500 less than what West Ham United declare. Now, as we all know, Charlie, we've all known this, like you said, it's just confirmed that West Ham United declare the tickets sold. But are you surprised at how many fans are not turning up for home games? 12,500 people is a lot of people.
I would have been, but then last year there was certain situations where in the ground you could see it, but then also when you're watching Match of the Day back, when you're watching it on Sky or however you watch it, you would see the huge amounts of space left. And when you're in the ground and you look up and you can see basically in a ring almost entirely around the top of the stadium where there's just no one there, but all that adds up. And so if you're thinking about it in terms of the percentages, I can't remember in the article, it says something stupid like 22% or something like that. It's a huge discrepancy and it adds up to such an enormous number. And it's both shocking, but if you're there in person, you look up, you go, actually, it's probably right.
Should West Ham United as a club be concerned about this, that 12,500 people aren't turning up to home games, or should they not be too worried because those 12,500 people are handing over their cash and choosing not to go to the game?
It's interesting because I think, should they be worried about the trend of less people going to games? Potentially, but with how important the TV money has become, I honestly think if you asked most either of the West Ham board or any owners in the Premier League about people attending games less and less but buying a season ticket but choosing to watch it at home because of convenience or whatever, I don't think they'd care, which is quite a sad thing ultimately, but I don't think they care. Would I be concerned? Potentially. I think TV money is so important now that if someone's paying a season ticket but not going, it's not the end of the world financially for a football club, is it?
Looking at the longer term strategy, Charlie, about over 6,000 people did not renew their season tickets in the summer, which is after this figure. This figure is from last season's attendances. So since then, 6,000 people haven't renewed their season ticket. So in a year's time, we're going to be looking at season ticket renewals. 12,500 people are not attending the games, and also it's the first time that people in Club London, etc., who were locked into a 3-year deal are going to be asked to renew. So as a club, for a longer term strategy, should they be a little bit concerned about next summer's renewal rate already?
Yeah, and I think they should have been concerned about it halfway through last season when people were starting to say, I'm not going to renew. And obviously people say they're not going to renew a lot of the time and then still do or whatever. But the truth is that we've been consistently handed bad football. And as a club, as a fan base, we get derided constantly about how we want the West Ham way and all this other stuff. And so when we do start to get absolute trash football and trash football results, people aren't going to turn up. And anecdotally, I speak to a lot of people who sort of are on the fence about actually going to games. Even when they have a season ticket, they're like, do I actually even want to make the effort after work on a Monday to attend a football game? Should I pay for a season ticket when Sky are going to change the TV times constantly and then we'll be playing on a Monday or a Friday night and then I have to go after work and all this other stuff? It's a really difficult situation. They should be worried, and if they're not worried, at the end of this season, they're probably going to get a massive kick up the backside about it.
Is this also, do you think, a problem of the cheap season tickets, which originally were in the London Stadium, where all kids were £99, and we know of people that were purchasing those £99 and only upgrading for games that they wanted to go to, the other games would just leave it empty, etc. We all know about the +2 scenario, and people took advantage of that. Do you think this is why we're missing 12,500 people per game? People just took advantage of the tickets that were so cheap they don't need to attend to get value for money?
Potentially, yeah. And if you've got enough money let's be real, if you have enough money to buy an extra season ticket that's £99, you probably also have enough money to say, oh, I don't want to go on a Friday night after work, I'll just watch it on television at home. Like, that's the reality of the situation. I think there are people that it honestly benefited a lot of people. It benefited, like, having cheaper seats benefited me personally as someone who can't afford a season ticket. I got to go to more games probably over the last 2 years than I would have otherwise, but that can't last forever. That's not a situation that can last forever. And ultimately, if the results don't change on the pitch, then we're going to see those figures slowly dip and dip and dip. And then if we go into the championship, then I don't know what figures they're going to say, because that stadium's going to be half empty anyway.
Over the last 24 to 48 hours, only other news West Ham related is tape news, which includes Mark Noble returning for Sunday's game, as well as Arthur Masuaku. Jack Wilshere picked up a knock in training, but is expected to be fine for Sunday's game at Goodison Park. But that's the latest West Ham news here on Your West Ham News. Let us know in the comments below what you think of the BBC article with all this information about attendances. If you have not read it, the link is in the description, so just click it, have a little read, and let us know what you think. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed this new series. This is a series that's here to stay. There'll be different hosts and different guests throughout, and also subscribe if you're new to the channel. But Charlie, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me on,
and thank you for watching at home.